Hello, my name is Thomas Brady, the director of Heart of the Seas, and this is going to be an assembly of deleted scenes from the movie. Now, in a film that's over 3 hours long, one would think there's not a whole lot to be cut out, but that's not entirely true. When you write a screenplay, you write with the intent of filming everything you have, and with stop motion especially, this is a mindset that you need to have because you spend so many man-hours just animating these sequences here. In an ideal situation, you'll go through a screenplay and you'll determine what's needed before you begin filming. But what was unique about The Heart of the Seas was just how many deleted scenes there ended up being. Now, typically in most movies, a scene is going to be cut out for time, and in a film that's over 3 hours long, you really need to have these serious discussions on whether or not a scene is going to stay.
This was especially important on this production because of all the visual effects. On my end, you don't want to spend a bunch of time doing a shot that's not going to make it into the final movie because they take a lot of time and sometimes a lot of money. But unfortunately, that did end up happening a few times.
When assembling the movie, there were just a few scenes that either stopped the story or it conflicted with the pacing. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to go back and reassemble these scenes like they were going to be a part of the film.
Due to the overwhelmingly positive response to the film, we've decided to release not only deleted scenes, but extended scenes, as well as scenes with their original casting. Using the same techniques we used to edit the film, we have assembled these scenes as they would have appeared if they were in the final cut.
And with that, here are the deleted scenes from The Heart of the Seas. We hope you enjoy. This was originally supposed to appear right after Redbeard had his whole conversation in the captain's cabin. And then it was going to transition to Stafford and Joffrey having their own conversation. But when we got around to filming this particular scene, we realized there was not a whole lot of new information the audience was getting. We kind of already knew this.
The final nail in the coffin for this scene was actually that Eli Hutchinson never sent in his lines for this scene as Stafford, which really ended up benefiting us.
Eli forgetting to send in his lines made the decision a lot easier for the scene to be cut. I wasn't going to track down Eli to re-record audio for a scene that we weren't going to use, so it was better left on the cutting room floor.
For the purposes of this video, we've reassembled the scene using insert text for Stafford's dialogue.
Temper your anger, or it will be your undoing. We got plenty to worry about other than just Stafford.
Indeed, sir. How will we find this shard on this cannibal island? And how do you expect to find it, then? This may as well be a wild goose chase. The French will be nearby, sir. And what if he fails?
This was a sequence that I never thought in a million years would be removed from the final film. This was a scene that happened right after the whole conversation on the raft, and it actually involved a group of sharks attacking our heroes. For the longest time, this was in every assembly of the film that we did. But as the runtime started to tack up, we took a step back and we reconsidered it.
At the end of the day, you gotta ask, is this actually benefiting the narrative? Is it getting us closer to the Islanders? There were a lot of debates about this, but eventually we both agreed it'd be best if we just cut it out. This was especially devastating for the effects crew because we had spent so much time on this scene, and it was a fun scene, but it just didn't end up being necessary for the film.
This scene is special because it was already fully assembled. All we had to do was just go back in and retweak a few of the music tracks. So we'll let you be the judge if we made the right call or not.
If someone's gonna find that island, it's gonna be us.
Fair enough. Hamish, there's still enough of your riverboat days left in you to crew this ship?
Aye, sir. Setting a southward course now.
Holy shit!
What is it now?
Christ! Grab the oars! Help!
Are you daft? You are not going in after him.
Let's get out of here.
Come on.
The horse chase was something that was fine on paper, but it didn't really translate well to film. This is going to follow right after Stafford and Kahuka's whole duel, and it was going to see Gabriel and Redbeard escape from a British officer on horseback.
Originally, the officer in this scene was supposed to be Broadside, but as Austin Kiefer sent in his lines, the character was a lot more likable than he was initially written to be, so it felt out of place to have this long, elaborate chase scene of our heroes with this kind of morally gray guy.
But I still wanted to have that chase in the film, so I filmed a version of it where I had a British officer who appeared a few times throughout the movie. I gave him a bit more to do, so I had him kind of fill in the Broadside role and chase Gabriel and Redbeard down. Despite being a very nice animated sequence, it just didn't flow right. It didn't help with the tone because before this we have the emotional scene of the artillery, and then right at this we have this fun action set piece here, so it didn't really work. And the decision was made pretty early on to cut this out. I don't think we even recorded sound for this originally.
This was something that we thought Tom was going to change his mind on, so we went ahead and we did the whole scene, all the effects. It ended up getting cut, but you can still see remnants of the scene in the following shots. There's still a dead horse in the riverbank.
We've reassembled the sequence here to give you a sense of what it could have looked like if it had been in the final film. So with that said, we hope you enjoy it.
Gabriel!
After you, Captain. We best be getting out of here.
This was a quick scene between Stafford and Joffrey that was supposed to take place right after Kraken emerges out of the locker. I made the decision to cut it out pretty early on because it was just taking too long to get to the final battle. It was a tiny scene, but I ended up cutting it out of the film.
Drink up, General. It could be the last day you ever amount to anything.
I'll retire to my quarters.
Good man. What about you, Joffrey?
I don't drink, sir.
If this doesn't call for it, I don't know what does. We've done it, Joffrey. I must thank you for your service. But Seems you are the only one with any sense of loyalty around here.
What I've been asked by many people after they finish this film is, what happened to Joffrey? Well, there was actually a deleted scene that we filmed of his fate. This wasn't originally scripted, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to include a scene of his demise. So in about February of 2021, I filmed a little scene of him and him getting crushed by a bookshelf. Even though it was a pretty funny gag of him dying, I just knew it would interrupt the flow of the scene if we actually included this, so we cut it out pretty early on.
I'm fairly certain that this never made it into any cut of the film that we actually assembled because, frankly, the audience doesn't really care about Joffrey. In pretty much every cut, Joffrey's fate was left unresolved because the focus of the third act is supposed to be on Gabriel and Stafford's struggle, not on Joffrey.
So I think we made the right choice of completely removing the scene altogether.
In addition to these deleted scenes, we thought it'd be interesting to sort of present a what if in regards to the casting process.
What was particularly unique about this film was just the sheer amount of recasting and reshuffling of actors before we made a final decision. Recasting in a movie is not typically something you want to do, because you've already spent so much time with your voice actor and you've developed a certain working relationship with them, and you essentially have to start all over again. But in some cases, it was just necessary to do it for the betterment of the final product.
These scenes did make it into the final cut, but we've gone back and put the original casting's audio over the scenes to kind of give you an idea of what could have been, and we'll let you be the judge on whether or not we made the right choice.
The first one of these is Chris Major as the dock foreman. It was a small role, but it gave insight into how the British Army functioned and what the leadership was like.
I'd introduced Tom to Chris when I was working on this short a long time ago called Vitaman, and Tom really enjoyed his performance in that and went on to cast him in The Legend as General Andrew, which he did a very good job at.
It was a painful choice, but we ended up giving the role to Adam Blumber instead. We thought it'd be unfair not to show Chris's performance, so here it is as originally intended.
Hold that line! Steady as she goes.
When do we start building ships?
Who in the blazes are you?
Oh, we just came in today. When do we start building ships?
Soon. First we have to bring in the Black Sea's Barracuda for repairs.
You mean the actual Black Sea's Barracuda?
Yes. Just returned from the fighting in France. General Broadside himself will be accompanying it.
You see, Christopher? Not a total loss, is it? We get to work on the finest ship in the Navy.
What a coincidence. There she is now.
Must have been difficult for you when the Navy took over the place.
Not really, sir. They just forced me to find new lodgings.
How dare you, scum! This is General Broadside you're talking to.
I know who he is.
Why, you—
Save it! I like your nature, boy. Bold. Defiant. Brash, even. Foreman, let these two men off early for the day.
General, there's much to do yet.
They have both earned it.
Yes, sir?
Thank you, General. Sir, you have my gratitude.
Not at all. Always happy to reward an exemplary worker.
I'll not soon forget it, I can tell you that. Good day, sir.
And you.
Redbeard is an integral character in the story. He represents sort of the classic adventurous tone that was so commonplace in the days of Errol Flynn or Douglas Fairbanks. So it was really important to get him right.
There were a few people we had looked at, but ultimately we decided that Liam Bilski was the best choice. His audition was phenomenal. He did this really convincing, authentic pirate voice. He was cast in the role for the longest time, but we neglected to have him record his lines right away as we didn't see any urgency.
Most of Redbeard's scenes were shoved to later on in the production schedule, so we didn't see the urgency to contact Liam right away to do voice work. But unfortunately, when time came around to actually do those scenes, Liam had to drop out due to some personal reasons.
We were just devastated that all the talent, energy, and charisma that Liam had brought to the project was now gone.
We sort of went into a panic because we just assumed that Liam's going to be our guy for the longest time. But eventually, help came from an unlikely source, Jacob Valley. He gave off that same adventurous spirit that we wanted for Redbeard, and we didn't have any more worries from that point on. But we still kind of wondered what it would have been like if Liam had been a part of this production.
We'll present his introduction scene with audio from his original tape, so you can see what could have been.
Suppose I was never destined for much either. Born poor. Always knew I'd die poor. Guess I just didn't think it'd be here.
Oh, come on, Christopher. It was always gonna end up like this.
I hear you be looking for a way out of this godforsaken prison.
I suppose you could say that.
Oh, where are me manners? Allow me to introduce myself. I be Captain Roger Redbeard.
Captain Redbeard? Like the pirate Captain Redbeard?
No, he's not, Christopher. He's just some homeless drunkard.
Oh, yes. I apologize for me unflattering appearance. I be in a bit of my own situation.
You're the Roger Redbeard? The one who defeated 5 Spanish ships with but 1 vessel? Who killed the bloodthirsty Captain Graves in combat and turned his ship to ash? That's you?
Governor Lee was one of those characters that I thought should have a strong, booming presence on screen. So I thought, what better way to show that than to contact an authentic English voice actor to voice the character? We tried out a few different people in the role, but we eventually settled on a channel called Josico Studios to play the character. We were sort of shocked because he turned in his lines the very next day, which is unheard of in a stop-motion project. We listened to his audio tape, and it unfortunately just sounded a bit too calm for the character we wanted. The part was eventually recast to Jack Miller, but we thought it'd be interesting to show you how it originally was supposed to play out.
Ah, yes. Captain Stafford. Do come in.
Actually, sir, it's Admiral Stafford now.
I beg your pardon?
Admiral Smith died in battle against the French. I hold his position now.
I feared this day would come. I'm not unfamiliar with your true character, Ambrose.
Come again, Governor.
Your father was a good man, Ambrose. I wish I could say the same of you. Since youth, you've talked of nothing but your prestige and pursued nothing but your advancement. And now, by some twist of fate, you are responsible for an entire fleet and the safety of this harbour. How can I trust a man who cares more for his own image than the well-being of his countrymen?
I did not ask to be put in this position, and yet here I am. Admiral Smith trusted me to serve him well. Now I only ask that you extend the same trust he did.
Well, I suppose there's no alternative, but time will tell if you've truly earned it. Now, we must get to the task at hand. The French fleet is assembling in the Channel, just south of here. This is their most likely point of entry. Your ships, combined with those we have here, should be enough to match them.
Actually, sir, I had something else in mind.
And what might that be?
You are aware of the legend of Davy Jones?
Of course, but I don't see what that has to do with...
I have procured a map that leads to the exact location of the fabled Shard of Nuka, the means by which Jones controlled the Kraken and the sea.
Stop this.
If we were to attain it, we could sink the French fleet, or any fleet, 10 times over. I propose an expedition to find the Shard, and thus bring a swift end to this war and all those yet to come.
Stop this talk! Good God, man, where has your head gone? The lives of our nation and its citizens are under threat, and you talk this nonsense, this fantasy! You call yourself an admiral?
With this, I will be the greatest admiral in the history of our empire. I found this at the El Dorado Fortress in Hartheim.
Jacob Valley initially tried out for the part of Wellingham. It was decided he was most suited to play Hamish. However, during the recast, he ended up filling Liam's shoes as Redbeard.
As written, Hamish was a much more serious mercenary-type character in the original script, but the performance of Kay Davis made his character a lot more comedic than what he was really intended to be. At the end of the day, it was the right choice in shuffling these parts around, but it's always interesting to see the alternative character interpretations.
Evening, sirs. What can I do for you?
I'm an old friend here to see Benjamin Willingham.
Oh, I don't know about that, mate. He doesn't take too kindly to visitors, or old friends either.
Well, I'm both. I'm quite sure he'll see me. Inform him that Captain Roger Redbeard has come to pay him a visit.
Redbeard? I'll tell him right away.
Oh, whenever shall we get off this infernal raft?
I doubt there's going to be anything resembling land for miles.
Stay on course. Keep sailing south.
To what?
That island can't be too far away from here.
Oh, that's reassuring.
What else can we do?
It may well be that my senses are dulled by wine, but I do believe there is something on the horizon.
Don't be ridiculous, Stone. It's probably just... Good lord!
Looks like there's an island ahead. About a few miles off.
What are we waiting for? Head for that island!
Wait, there's something else. It's a ship. Judging by their colors, I'd say Spaniard privateer.
What? How'd they find us?
Doesn't matter. We need to get ashore, now!
Hans was a character that was pretty overlooked during casting. In the process of meeting and auditioning all these other voice actors, this character kind of just got lost in the shuffle.
Originally, I had Holden Meese up for the part of Hans. Holden was great at doing all sorts of different voices and accents, and I just assumed there'd be no problem since he was already so gifted at that. I actually never auditioned him since I just thought I'd be able to do it. In the update video that I posted 2 years ago, he actually says he's playing Hans.
Hi, I'm Dewey, your favorite character from the legend, also playing Hans in the unnamed pirate film. It's gonna be epic.
But when he sent in his lines, it was a little goofy.
This is not to discredit Holden as an actor, but doing a Dutch accent is very difficult, and it was my fault for not giving him the direction that I needed. Thankfully, Holden was reshuffled to play Barnett, but I thought it'd be kinda interesting to go back and re-include his lines to see what could have been.
What are you doing here on this island?
What's it to you?
I make it my business to know.
I'll make it mine too.
That's all this.
Well, who are you exactly?
You seem surprised.
Well, we weren't expecting to find any more of our kind on this island.
If you are implying I'm a thieving pirate such as yourself, then no, sir. I am not of your kind at all.
An interesting accent you have there. German?
Dutch.
Wait, there's a difference?
Did anyone ask for your input, Stone?
I found them on the north end of the island. Here to pillage, no doubt.
Any other day we would be. But I assure you, today we're here for matters of far greater importance.
I find that difficult to believe.
All we want from you is food and water.
Oh, sure. And then you'll be on your way, yeah? But in a week you'll be back with the party of your countrymen.
If we don't act soon, our countrymen will burn this island to the ground.
What makes you say that?
Well, if you must know, we're here to open Davy Jones' locker, before the British Navy can, who, by the way, happen to be in our tail with a whole flotilla of vessels. So kill us if you'd like, but you'll regret it soon enough.
Davy Jones' locker. Well, why didn't you say so? Oh, and while you're at it, maybe you could help me find Atlantis too.
Jesus, you people take convincing.
The Shard of Nuka.
You seem to know what it is.
It is one of the most sacred items among my people.
What people?
There's a whole tribe of us on this island.
If what they say is true, there may not be for much longer. Ah, where did you get this?
By a lone castaway.
By God.
So I take it this has been missing for a while then?
It has. We must take this to King Kahuka.
Fantastic! We're to be the audience to a king of cannibals.
Mind your tongue, boy.
It's quite alright. Typical misunderstanding. I am Haz Jason. I shipwrecked on this island many years ago. I lived here ever since. My colleagues there, cinque.
How does he know English?
Through this.
The shard?
I'll explain to you later. But right now, we must make haste to King Kahuka.
Outside of Redbeard, one of the most significant characters to be recast was the role of King Kahuka.
The screenplay had described Kahuka as a old warrior type guy that had seen a lot, and the role was initially given to Gavin Ruthsel. It was the first time any of us had worked with Gavin, and he was a good voice actor, but the character just had become kind of unintentionally comedic.
How was an audience supposed to take him seriously if he sounded like a parody? After a few attempts at redos, it was decided he just wasn't right for the part. It was very painful for Gavin because he had to discard an entire reel of audio recording, but ultimately I think it was the right choice for the character.
Great King Kahuka, these voyagers humbly request an audience.
The scouts have told me of these pirates. What did these marauders come to my village for?
They have brought this.
The Shard of Nuka. How did they come by this?
They claim to be trying to find Davy Jones's locker before the British Navy can get their hands on it. We must hurry if we are to beat them to it.
A British fleet? How could they find this place? Did you lead them here?
Well, not exactly.
The Shard is not some weapon to be wielded like a toy. For generations, the Shard of Nuka gave prosperity to the island and its people. Linked to its presence was a great titan of the deep, who protected us from being consumed by the depths, and so allowed our land to flourish. Then a pirate by the name of Davy Jones happened upon us. Naive as they were, my predecessors showed them the locker, where we kept our most revered talisman. Of course, he stole it for himself. With the Shard's power, he could command our protector beneath the waves to wipe out whatever he saw fit. Jones was unstoppable, and without our guardian, the depths began to reclaim our island. However, Jones was not immortal. When he passed on, his crew brought the Shard back here, as they had come to fear its power. We returned it to its hiding place, and we all hoped that its power would never be revealed to the world again.
These are going to be a reel of various bits that weren't included in the final film. These aren't necessarily deleted scenes, but rather more extended or alternate takes that just didn't end up in the final film. I don't have a lot to say about these respective scenes because they were all removed for the same reason: time.
Although the film is long, there's always bits and pieces you can cut out to make it flow better. A gag with Mr. Stone might be funny on the page, but not translate well onto screen, or a fight scene might just go on too long, and you really got to ask yourself if all these shots are actually worth keeping, and oftentimes they're not.
I wasn't originally intending on including these since they're all so short, but I thought the fans might be interested in comparing and contrasting these various scenes.
The English!
What could they want with us? We're just farmers. What are we going to do?
Whatever they desire.
Must never forget this day. Never forget what they did to us.
No!
Come on, boy.
Forward, men!
The map to Davy Jones's locker. Admiral Smith.
You? You want to be an admiral?
It is quite clear you are not in the shape to hold the position at the moment, or in the foreseeable future.
And you are?
Why, yes. I believe I am.
Damn you all! Ugh! There's gotta be some sort of way out of here. A loose bolt, trapdoor, something.
Oh yes, I apologize for me unflattering appearance. I be in a bit of me own situation.
You're the Roger Redbeard? The one who defeated 5 Spanish ships with but 1 vessel? Who killed the bloodthirsty Captain Graves in combat and turned his ship to ash? That's you?
Well, you make it sound all so grand, but indeed, I am.
Why should I believe you?
Only to be promptly recognized and arrested for me various crimes.
How long have you been in this cell?
Not too long. I'd wager a few weeks.
Well, it doesn't help us much knowing how you got in here. Do you know how to get out or not?
If I didn't have a plan to get out of here, would I be wasting me precious time left on this earth gabbing with you? No. I'll get...
I don't believe it. We're free.
Well, thanks for your help, but we'll be on our way now.
And where will you be going? Every soldier in this here harbor will be on your tail shortly, and you'll be shot on sight. I'm your only way out of this hellhole.
Well, when you put it that way, fine. Now, where's that ship?
There'll be no time now. The sun rises in less than an hour, I wager. We'll have to wait till dusk, when we have the cover of dark. Are you prepared to follow me?
I am.
Good. You've just joined the crew of Roger Redbeard.
It's been an hour. Where is he?
He'll be here. You'll see.
Hey, come on, let's just forget the captain and get out of here while we can.
Well, if you want to get yourself recaptured and hung, then be my guest.
Not something I'd recommend. I've dealt with those foul contraptions before, lad. They don't work quickly, I can tell you that.
Well, you sure took long enough.
I had to find a decent outfit, didn't I? You couldn't expect me to go out pirating in those old rags I had on. There's been a slight change in plans. There's only a few guards on the Barracuda so far. If you can distract them for a spell, Christopher and I shouldn't have too much of a problem getting her working for us. We'll be sure to throw a rope down for ye before we get moving proper, of course.
Some plan? If that's the best you can come up with, I say we just storm it together. Great, them again.
Well, sir, with all due respect, I wasn't planning on arresting anyone this morning.
Why do you think we're on guard duty?
In case someone like me shows up.
Exactly.
You make an excellent point.
Shut up.
It's a miracle you three haven't been sacked.
Don't insult me. I'm the best there is.
Well, if that's the case, you lot don't stand a chance in this war.
What in the blazes could possibly be so important?
Oh, poor man. Is being a ship pilot really enough to drive one to suicide?
Cut those ropes, Mr. Davis.
Captain, we have a problem.
Take cover, boys.
The gall of that man, I tell you, he and his lot are either the bravest or stupidest pirates I've ever met.
Just where are we gonna find a crew?
We'll make port at Blackwater. I have a friend there by the name of Benjamin Wellingham.
Benjamin Wellingham?
Ben for short. Me former first mate. Retired from piracy some years ago. Runs a tavern in Blackwater now. He'll get us the hardiest crew this side of the Caribbean. What are you doing down here?
I just thought it would be beneficial to explore the lower decks. We want to know what kind of ship we are dealing with.
I thought we'd cleared this vessel.
What happened?
Don't move.
Oh, believe me, I wouldn't dream of it. What did I do? Do I owe you money?
Well, if it isn't our friend from the marketplace.
Oh, yes, I remember you now. You were on the run. Oh, I believe a thank you might be in order after all I did to save you. And especially after you knocked over my tray. It took me ages to pick up that mess.
What are you doing here?
Please do permit me to introduce myself. My name is Wilson Stone. And if you would kindly remove that sword from my neck, I'll gladly tell you the location of a shipwrecked Spanish treasure galleon. Yes, loaded to the brim with diamonds, enormous diamonds, so many diamonds you wouldn't believe.
Shut up.
How did you get here?
Oh, I serve drinks to officers on vessels such as this one, among other services.
You're a servant?
I'm a butler. Mind the distinction.
And what may I ask?
If you mind my asking, how did you two manage to take this ship by yourselves?
We had some help. Your guards certainly aren't the brightest bunch. The real question is how you managed to sleep.
I did not ask to be put in this position, and yet here I am. Now that I find myself granted this daunting task, I will devote all my efforts to meet it. Admiral Smith trusted me to serve him well. Now I only ask that you extend the same trust he did. I found this at the El Dorado Fortress in Hartime, after our temporary victory. It gives directions to an uncharted island, being slowly swallowed by the sea. I dubbed it Cannibal Island. Rather fitting, don't you think? And it is here, hidden away from the world, that our key to victory lies. It is more important that I find the shard as quickly as possible so that the war does not drag on any longer than it must. What say you, sir?
You have my permission to go, but I'm still not sure about this business.
Duly noted, Governor. You have my deepest gratitude.
Will you rabble, I mean, gentlemen, require anything else this evening?
Yeah, try to grab us a nail from below deck. I trust you're familiar with where it's located?
Oh, yes, sure. But, mind you, it is rather cold out, and given my frail condition, I am liable to contract the pox or some other dreadful disease. But never mind that. I shall season on for your sakes.
I'd be disappointed if you didn't.
Oh, all right then. Guess I'll be going out now for your ale. Into the cold.
Seeing him?
I'd wager we number less than 30, and we're going to need every hand we can for this expedition.
I'd say it's time you told us about that as well.
It all started some time ago. Must have been half a year ago now. My crew had a run-in with a whole armada of Spanish ships in the West Indies.
How did a lone Spaniard privateer know where the map to the locker was?
I couldn't say. I never did find that bit out. Anyway, he guided us to the French fortress of El Dorado, where it lay hidden within.
And that's when your crew ran into that storm.
Aye, I was the only survivor. I washed ashore onto Whale Hunt Harbor, and that's where I crossed paths with you.
So we have to get back to that fortress?
Yes, and with the French busy pursuing the British, it'll make our jobs easier. All we have to do is assemble a crew at Blackwater.
Are we close?
We ought to be. Barrett isn't too far from here, so we must be getting close. Temper your anger, or it will be your undoing. Over-eagerness has been the downfall of many a friend, and has nearly been mine on occasion. We got plenty to worry about other than just Stafford.
What does he want now?
Redbeard! Captain, sir, there's a fleet of British ships heading this way.
What? Go wake up the men. Get them to their battle stations.
Fire!
Sir, the French are...
Yes, I can see they're French. They were here waiting for you, and you fell right into their trap. You've doomed our fleet.
I most certainly have not.
No, you're right, General, because I'm taking command.
You what?
Concentrate fire on the main vessels. Close in on them.
'Cause if you do, I'll tear this map of yours in two.
How did you get that?
It flew out of your pocket through to your fancy footwork. Interesting. Where might you be heading, Admiral? What ye be looking for in this place?
That's no business of yours. And unless you want to lose your other hand, I suggest you give that back to me and forget the whole thing. It just so happens he is. What is your name, Spaniard?
Captain Antonio Hernandez Graves, sir.
Thank you, Captain Graves. I'll see that you are rewarded for this. Don't go just yet. I may have need of you.
He's taken quite a beating, sir.
Not yet he hasn't. It would appear your friends took my map and the shard with them. I'm sure you thought that was a smart move. So tell me, where did they go?
I don't rightfully know.
Need I persuade you from the end of a rope?
I don't fear death.
But you will come to fear me.
I don't fear no man either.
How about pain? Do you fear pain? Because unless you cooperate, there will be quite a lot of it. Where did they go?
I don't rightfully know. If I haven't...
That's reassuring.
What else can we do?
It may well be that my senses are dulled by wine, but I do believe there is something on the horizon.
I can see the beach!
Haha! We're gonna make it! Oh, come on!
You just had to say it. Jesus, what a rotten day this is shaping up to be.
If you are implying that I am a thieving pirate, such as yourself, then no, sir. I'm not of your kind at all.
An interesting accent you have there. German?
Dutch.
Wait, there's a difference?
Did anyone ask for your input, Stone?
No one ever does.
My point exactly.
I found them on the north end of the island. Here to pillage, no doubt.
After them!
Oh!
What do you want, Stone?
Not a thing in the world. Just here to have a chat with my dear friends is all.
Isn't that marvelous? I do so enjoy our little chats, Mr. Stone.
Oh, do excuse me.
That doesn't make any sense.
Plenty of sense, sir. It all has to do with the theory of... Let me explain it.
The Islanders will be up working the entire night.
You're in his chair. Now.
Yep.
Land ho!
Oh, right. What was I thinking? Of course, neither of you know how to cook. No, I have to do everything for you two. Why should this be any different?
You're going to leave us here alone? Without adult supervision?
The British are marching towards our position.
Excellent.
Aye, appears so.
He isn't as smart as I thought he would be. Huh! We may yet survive this!
You islanders fight like the devil.
Withdraw from here. Take your soldiers and leave.
Never.
just the alcohol talking, but it seems that I'm doomed whatever I do. So, why not?
But if you'll have it, I give you my sword.
I accept it.
Come on, you bilge rats, to the Barracuda!
Soon, I'll have dominion over the seven seas and the beast beneath them. What's to stop me then?
Storms.
No, it will never rain here, but it still maintains that appearance.
You're going to let them do this? Who's to be manning the ships?
Broadside, my men have earned it. What have your men done for me? They all ended in failure.
But the French?
Let them come if they wish. We have the beast on our side.
This is it then, lads! To the death!
The barrels! Quickly! Mr. Stone, load that in there.
Oh, sure. Shooting the rocks will improve our situation a whole lot.
Shut up.
Alright, fine. You see, I told you.
General Broadside?
Captain Javier, a pleasure to finally meet you at last.
Well, those are the deleted scenes from Heart of the Seas. It was interesting to kind of go back and reassemble these various scenes, because it's not something you typically have an opportunity to do in most stop-motion films.
In a way, this is sort of our final goodbye to the film that we spent 2 years of our lives on.
The response to this film was better than any of us could have imagined, so we decided to release all the behind-the-scenes content we could, not holding back on any one of them.
This channel's come a long way since the primitive days of the Lost World, when we were doing muzzle flashes with cotton balls and little hand-drawn blood spurts. Now we're doing these digitally rendered Krakens and compositing hundreds of ships onto filmed plates. And really, this is just the beginning of what we're going to be doing in the future. It has been Longshot Digital's honor to collaborate and work on this project.
It was a very difficult 2 years, but we finally got a film done, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning into this movie here and making our dreams become a reality. This is Thomas Brady, signing out.